8 Democrats finally switched their votes, which equal the government lockdown in the Senate to officially be over. Right? Let's fucking go. Right? It's over. After 41 days, I think it was, of just no government, pretty much the government's locked down. Right? Needing donations to keep the military and public service funded, we're actually out of it. Right? After 40 days, the longest the longest government lockdown in U.S. history is finally over, and there's a lot to unpack in this video. We're gonna be able to talk about the lockdown, Pope Leo coming out about corn, right? Trump's tariffs, how they're doing, and the midterms, all in this one video. So check it out. So let's start with the government lockdown. 8 Democrats switched their votes, right? One of them was John Fetterman, who was very outspoken about how we need to open up this government. I agree. The Republican side makes way more sense than actually the Democratic side. They say, let's switch this, let's switch the healthcare up, right? Let's get this figured out and then open our government, which makes no sense because when you have a closed government, it leads to bad stuff, right? We've already seen, right, that people are not getting paid, people are staying home, right? We don't have SNAP benefits, even though a lot of people don't use it for the right way. There's people that actually need the SNAP benefits and they're getting cut off, right? But I'm saying this like, dude, at least 8 Democrats switched their sides, right? I don't know the exact names. I should have wrote down. I should have wrote down who are the exact names. But again, God bless those 8 Democrats that we have our government open up finally. All right. Now it still needs to pass through the House, but the House is Republican. We won the legislative part of the legislative branch, right? So I don't think we're gonna lose it at all. I don't think we're gonna lose it at all. I think we're gonna get this through. We're gonna win the majority. We're good, right? We're out of the fire pretty much until January 30th, where we have to renegotiate, right? Because Democrats are so stubborn, right? Before this horrible healthcare that's proven not to work, even their own people, like Bernie Sanders, a socialist himself, says that this healthcare, the Affordable Care Act, does not work, and it's been a complete failure, right? So that's what also the data says, right? If you look at non-biased data, that's what it says, right? They always lie. They always say, well, Obama was this great president. His healthcare was amazing. It really wasn't, right? And I wish John McCain voted against it because, again, this has really hurt our healthcare, right? And you've got Bernie Sanders saying we have to go to Europe. We got to do what Europe does. Europe is like sucks, right? So this has mainly been about the Affordable Care Act, right? Funding illegal aliens, but mainly been about the budgeting of healthcare, right? And now I gotta tell you, the affordable healthcare has been a failure for these main reasons, right? One of them, and the most important one, in my opinion, besides the high prices actually not going down, was that even Democrats say it still sucks. Bernie Sanders, you can go watch the video. Bernie Sanders came out and said, well, we actually suck. This thing sucks, right? This healthcare is way too expensive. We need to have free healthcare because that's what socialists push. Not gonna work. Free healthcare does not work, right? But it hasn't worked, right? And that's what even Democrats are coming out, and that's why they shut down the government for 40 days for their own healthcare, right? Their own healthcare is not working. Their own healthcare is too high. All right, the ACA promised a cheaper healthcare and not dividends, premiums have in 2026 are expected to go up 18% according to KFF. All right, so this is crazy. Hear this out. This promise of more affordable healthcare, right? And even Democrats, Obama, one of the most favorite Democrats, even though he wasn't really that good, right? Say it sucks. Even though he's one of the most favorite presidents, Democratic presidents, he's glorified. People in the Democratic Party say he was the best president of all time, which is just complete eyewash. And Democrats say it still sucks. The healthcare still sucks. We're still under Affordable Care Act, and it still sucks. Obama did not keep his promise, right? Many other promises he didn't keep, but it's horrible, right? That's not like horrible, right? It sucks. We actually need to, figure out a different healthcare thing, right? I believe that the government shouldn't have. I believe healthcare should be private organizations instead of public, and healthcare is going to be expensive, right? is kind of just a sad truth. And free healthcare is proven not to work. It's not. It's just not going to work. And people are going to pay higher taxes. People are going to come home with less money for longer waiting lines, right? To get a basic thing like a basic checkups. Basic checkups are already long. Like, dude, right? They're already long, and our healthcare still sucks, right? Like, I'm one of them, right? New Jersey healthcare is pretty high. I don't know if it's just my place, but my doctors suck, right? And my healthcare sucks, right? But it's still expensive, right? And free healthcare wouldn't fix that. Free healthcare would just make the actual quality worse, even though it's free, even though you're paying it in taxes, right? You're gonna pay higher taxes, which higher taxes suck. Don't want to pay higher taxes, right? Because that does you have more money to spend, which hurts the GDP overall, right? Now, what does this mean for the midterms, right? What we're getting to right now. The midterms are so important. If we lose the Senate and the House, Trump is gonna get impeached quickly. I get that. But I have a feeling, right? Also, having it means that he can't push the stuff that he wants to push, which will help the economy, right? This is the biggest test for Republicans. Can Republicans actually work? You have both the House and the Senate. You need to win it. You need to do your best job, right? Trump needs to fix this economy by the end of no, by the end of June next year. Let's give him that much time, because I can tell you this, in my opinion, I believe it's actually gonna be fixed by then, right? Um, but if we keep the tariffs, right, you could fact check me this, put this in any AI. We should have about $1.2 trillion in revenue from the tariffs. We've already made almost 200 billion. I think maybe more than $200 billion from tariffs, right? And if we can get manufacturing here, our goal is to become the manufacturing empire again, the manufacturing capital of the world. But we gave that away to China, right? We have better quality stuff, and to buy stuff for a little bit more price, but it's made in the United States, is gonna be better quality, right? And if he gets this going, I believe the midterm it's just gonna be a win for the Republicans. Now, here's what the polls say. Here's what the data says, because this is what matters the most. According to a Reuters poll, 36% of respondents say Republicans do better than Democrats. Democrats have a 29%. So it's a slight majority. It's a slight majority of the Republicans. We're not. The Democrats did a horrible job with the economy, and that's what most people think, right? Inflation went through the roof. It actually reached a 40-year high, right? Ever since Jimmy Carter. Also, the CPI went up 22%. That's according to factcheck.org. You can fact check me on factcheck.org, right? The consumer morale was at almost all time low, right? People are not buying stuff, and the GDP. I mean, I guess it's already going to be boosted because of the COVID, right? It's going to be boosted because of COVID. Trump was doing a great job with the economy until somebody took it in. And yeah, I mean, saying that, Republicans are still leading with the majority of with people's opinions, right? And that's a really big thing, right? Because if we can get this economy going and actually people making more money, prices are cheaper, right? Manufacturing's here, right? Hopefully, I'm praying for that, right? People are gonna vote and keep this house in midterms red, right? And this will be one of the few times the midterm actually goes red or goes in the party in the Oval Office, right? It's is it likely to happen? It's probably not. Especially after the wins in New Jersey and Virginia, which I believe the Democrats actually did that to help a win to get those wins, right? The fact that people voted for someone that wishes Jay Jones, awful person, right? Awful, awful, awful person, right? The fact that people voted for him is either shows that the Democrats are brainwashed, or did no, actually does shows that the Democrats are brainwashed because they see the D, right? They see D. It could be Adolf, Adolf Austrian painter, but D, they're gonna vote for him because he's Democrat, right? That's what they believe. That's what they believe. They see Democrat, vote for them, right? That's literally their process of mind. Democrat, vote for them. He says horrible stuff. He wishes his kids die in his mother's arm. He's a Democrat though. He's gonna be good, right? He's gonna be good. It's horrible. It's horrible. It's stupid. Right? It shouldn't be. He shouldn't be allowed into decent society. He should be kicked out from politics. Right? He should be ostracized from society for saying that, right? Like if I said that I would be you should get weird looks, but people voted for him, right? People voted for him, which is really sad. And same with the New Jersey election, where we actually could have seen there's a chance that we could have elected a Republican governor. Didn't work out, so that doesn't help the midterms at all. But it doesn't hurt the midterms because we are a blue state overall. Again, also the data, according to the data, it's gonna be really close. So this is another reason why Trump really needs to get the economy going. If he does, it's already gonna be a really close race. It's gonna be decided by a couple percent for each election, right? Right, and we need to win and keep back these seats, right? We need to, all right, because again, according to the data, right? I don't know the exact data, the sources, but it's gonna be close. That's what most people say. That's what most predictors say. It's gonna be really close. I think that's what the betting market say. It's gonna be pretty close, right? But also, most likely, outcome you can put this into anything like ChatGPT. The data shows that Democrats are gonna take the House, but the Senate's gonna still be Republican. So it's gonna be what Trump's first term was, right? The Democrats are gonna try and impeach him 3 times. The Senate's not gonna let it go through, right? And he can still do his stuff. It's gonna be way harder, right? But Republicans, hold out hope, right? Hold out hope. Catholics, if you're a conservative, pray for this because this is what's best for the economy, right? And even though people are still in favor of Republicans, it's the midterms. People usually don't vote for Republicans, or the party in the White House. So I don't know, right? It's gonna be really close, and really close. And if the loss of Virginia does not help at all. I don't. I mean, Virginia is just so close to being purple. So was New Jersey. I thought we were going a purple way. We clearly didn't. Um, yeah. Honestly, that Reuters poll, hold out hope because that Reuters poll was really crucial. Right. Do more research into those polls. Right. We need to see like who does people favor of, because I don't believe the 40% that Trump is so bad. Right. People think Trump's so bad. Right. I don't believe that because if Trump had 30% and he did a great job and consumer morale was so high, right? I don't believe that, right? There's a lot of contradictions in believing in that. Now we got Trump's tariffs. A lot of stuff happened yesterday, right? A lot of stuff happened yesterday. So he wants to do a $2,000 dividend, right? Now this can come different forms according to the Treasury Secretary, right? They become in different forms, but he wants a $2,000 dividend to everybody, right? Because he's gonna get so much revenue from these tariffs, and the year's not even over yet, right? He's already made over $200 billion. The year's not even over yet. He's not even a whole year in, right? And he says he's gonna have enough to actually pay this off, right? Yeah, he said he wants to send $2,000 dividend to everybody, right? Everybody in the United States, which I think it's everyone in the United States. I may be wrong. I might have to fact check me on that, but I think it's right. I think he might send that much to everybody, $2,000, which I mean that's good. It's gonna be great. Now the Supreme Court is gonna try to rule again, or they're going to have it go into court on whether it was lawful or not to go without the, because trying to start tariffing everybody, right? And when they want to know if it was lawful or not, and I think he's gonna win that, but yeah, I mean, it's not proven. We don't know if it's gonna happen yet, right? An extra $1,000 in everyone's pocket could really help. You know, that's not really much to say on that, but also the data shows that the tariffs after 4 years should be over $1 million of revenue, right? That's 1 trillion. My bad, $1 trillion of revenue. That's really important, right? You have an extra $1 trillion from these tariffs, and you could get manufacturing back in the United States, which matters the most, right? We need to become the manufacturing capital of the world like we were before 2010, right? Because we stopped manufacturing, we started buying stuff from China. If we can get China out of here, dude, right? We become the manufacturing capital of the world. We can get people buying from us instead of Russia, not Russia, China, right? We, first of all, F up China, and we become richer, and we outgrow and we outbeat this Cold War with China, right? Um, That's what Trump's tariffs are doing. I think tariffs are actually doing really good overall. Yeah, there's a little bump in prices, but I believe I would pay that extra to. Okay, this is made in the United States. It could be better quality, and I'm helping the country, right? I'm helping this GDP, right? The GDP was a 3.8. Guys, you don't argue against that. A 3.8 GDP is really good, right? Especially when we had really flat, a really bad economy, 3.8 GDP. When that means people were spending more money, right? Is really good, right? And when we get more stuff manufactured, yeah, we might have to pay a little bit extra for stuff, but you get better quality stuff, right? And overall, consumer morale will go up for these tariffs, right? I'm more of the more I learn about these tariffs, the more I'm in favor of tariffs, right? More I'm in favor of tariffs. People are so worried about the S&P 500 is literally going down, right? We're going to an economic recession, right? It proved the guys from economics or economists wrong, right? He said we are going to an economic drought, right? I remember that guy. That guy's a joke, right? We are going to a drought. We still haven't got to a drought. Actually, the economy's looking pretty good, right? Inflation stayed down with the tariffs. Actually, I think is lower than what Biden was, right? And we're having world peace, and we're having all these other stuff, and we're having more revenue into the United States pocket, right? I'm curious to see in December, right, what our GDP was. If it's around 3%, we're we are looking really good for the midterms. I'm telling you guys, if we can average a 3% GDP, right, for this year, next year, we're looking really good for the midterms because people are not going to argue against that. Now, for one of my favorite topics, right? Finally, the Pope does something I like, right? And he calls out the corn addiction. Finally, the Pope's blessing, stop blessing iceberg, right? And instead actually doing stuff, right? The Pope said like, the internet is like from the devil, not from the devil, but like really, really bad, right? And he's calling for a crusade against internet addictions. He's calling out corn addiction. He's calling out corn itself, which is double chef's give. That's what the Pope should be doing. He should be fighting for morals, not worried about climate change, dude. Oh my gosh. Thank you, Pope. Be like this more often. Be more like John Paul. All popes should take something from John Paul. He called out the evil. He is one of the reasons, right? Everyone says this, right? He's one of the reasons. Him and Ronald Reagan are one of the biggest reasons on why communism failed, right? Because the Pope called it out every single day, right? John Paul, amazing, right? John Paul gets a chef kiss, right? And this is what the Pope should be doing more. He should be talking about this stuff more. He should be talking about the genocide in Nigeria and Sudan instead of blessing ICE, right? Instead of worrying about illegal immigration. Like, dude, like, you're the Pope, right? You're the Pope. First of all, call out abortion. Call it out. Call out abortion. We're not doing enough with that. We need to call out abortion more often. That's what the Pope needs to do, right? The fact that Cardinal Sarah is talking more about abortion than the actual Pope is really bad, right? But he also should be talking more about Nigeria and Sudan. We should launch a crusade on prayer on that, right? That's what I would do if I was the Pope, right? He's been more liberal than he's been liberal, right? Not more liberal than the Pope Francis, right? But he's just I know I don't like these popes nowadays where they're too infinite on climate change. There's too much talking about climate change. This is exactly what the Pope should be doing. I love this from the Pope. I love this. The Pope's doing a good job on this. Call out this evil stuff. Call out hookup culture. Call out corn. Call out gambling. Call out the genocides in Sudan and Nigeria. Call out all this evil stuff, right? And that's what the Pope should be doing. And I think he's did a great job with this. Give him that chef kiss for this. He deserves it. All right, now off topic. My favorite rapper, as you can see, Kanye West, might be coming back. He apologized to a what's it called, a rabbi, right? He said he was going through bipolar stuff and he's taking responsibility. He apologized, and the rabbi forgave him. And now he went to a Travis Scott concert, and he's like, he took off his mask. He's Kanye might be back, right? Kanye might be back. Now I'm not going to spend too much topic because this is a political channel, a political and Catholic channel. But this is amazing. My favorite rapper might be back. You can see by the posters, and you can see by over there. There's a couple Kanye West posters. And if you look at my over my bed, it's like another 4 Kanye West posters, not 8 Kanye West posters right there of albums. So yeah, we'll get Kanye West back. Yeah. Anyways, pray for America. Pray for that. If you really care about the economy, pray and care for the future. Please pray or that we win the midterms, right? And yeah, if we win the midterms, we show how popular the Republican Party is, and the Democrats actually might have to become more moderate, which helps a lot. We need more moderate people in office, and yeah, God bless you guys all.